All right. What's going on? Welcome, people. What's going on? It's the Black Quarterback Forum coming at you. As always, our YouTube channel and blackqbsineffect.com. That's us, me, my man Smeez.
What up?
There you go, baby. This is episode number 7. If you're counting, it's 4 preseason or 3 preseason weeks, then an episode in between the regular season, and then there's been 3. This is week 3 of the regular NFL season. So as always, we do focus on the black quarterbacks. Like we like to say, we talk about the whole NFL because we watch the NFL in general, of course. So once again, I got different jerseys. The Patriots, there's a reason I'm wearing the Patriots jersey. Number one is Cam Newton, so don't get it twisted. There ain't no Brady. There ain't no who they got. Who's the current quarterback? What's his name? That guy, Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
It ain't no Mac Jones. It's Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton. Anyway, I've been buying a lot of jerseys on the low. You know, I got a new, up-to-date, current quarterback coming. I ain't put on my Lamar yet, but it's hot. I still have purple favor, baby. And I ain't worried about the Ravens. Ravens going to be okay. But anyway, I just want to let y'all know. So, okay? But anyway, we're going to get into it and talk about some stuff with the NFL in general, like I said. So, one of my things, right, I always talk about these strong defenses. We're going to get into the Cardinals and how they dismantled the supposedly dominant Cowboy defense, right? But I believe in my philosophy or my approach this year is that defenses are only as dominant as the offense lets them be. Because if you got an offense operating highly efficiently, then the defense is on their heels. And there's not a website, there's a YouTube channel called The Quarterback School. And this dude breaks down every starting quarterback in the leagues, their game. And he broke down the Joshua Dobbs film. You got to see it. He just tore up the Cowboy defense. Precision passing. And he missed some throws. But the dude talks about the footwork and the angles that the receivers take. And he takes you, and it's very informative. And it's just entertaining to watch. It'll help you just figure out a lot of stuff when it comes to watching your team play. Is why your quarterback isn't doing as good as he should be doing. What do you think about that?
I mean, I agree. The thing about it with the offense is the offense can be offense and defense. If you're scoring a lot of points, case in point, like we talked about, Al, like with the 49ers putting up 30 points a game. So going into that game, as an offense, you now know you need to score. So that's putting pressure on you. And that's not even going against the defense. So sometimes, like your Peyton Mannings, your Patrick Mahomes, you know, a lot of these quarterbacks that can come back in the last at the very end and give them the ball in 2 minutes, and you're going to end up going home with an L. Like those type of offenses are the offenses that can apply that same defensive pressure. Now, again, I feel like you still have to have I wouldn't necessarily say a great defense, but you have to have a timely defense to still ultimately win it. Ultimately, I still believe defense wins championships because at the end of the day, it's how does the saying go? The defense didn't get the stop.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it depends on the defense. If the defense can get that stop and they can truly be dominant for that series, for that moment, and again, we'll be big on series, especially in the AFC. A lot of this is going to be on the series that the quarterbacks had and right. When it counts. And like we kind of talked about last week in a sense of with the empty calories to efficiency. You know what I mean? So we'll see a lot of that in play this week on some of these situations.
Right. And to me, one of the things what he's saying to make the defense even more dominant in those crucial situations, I watched I don't know how many games where the offense is in the red zone, wherever you want to say within the red zone, and they have a false start, illegal procedure, illegal motion, or something, then they get a holding penalty, and then they're either out of scoring a touchdown possibly, and they got to kick the field goal, or they're even out of field goal range based on where they started.
Yeah.
So that happens so much where the offense just is inefficient and inept. But when they're clicking and they're making them throws, it's just hard to stop them.
And this is where stats are. Guess what happens? The defense gets credit for a stop in the red zone. So that's a positive boost to that defense when the defense didn't even make a play. You got a 10-yard hold, a 5-yard false start, legal formation. Now you're looking at a 3rd and 19. Obviously, you're going to get a defensive stop. But again, those good offenses going to make that 20-yard touchdown pass. And they still going to get a touchdown out of that situation.
Right.
So, again, kind of case in point, the defenses are almost only as good as the offense. If you got an inept offense, that defense could look amazing.
Right, exactly. So that's what we have. So another thing I like to talk about this week is they always talk about the good and bad and ugly. I just want to do it slightly different as far as the obvious, the typical, and the unexpected. So some things that are obvious. This past weekend's game only this applies to. We might apply it each week. But for this past weekend, obvious the Niners, Dolphins, Bills, and Chiefs won their game, right? And nobody, they won, right? Pretty obvious there. And
I agree too. And part of my obvious I have is the Ravens. Like any team going in, minus a center, a left tackle, 7 starters, they shouldn't win that game. And look what it took for them to beat us. Look what it took. You know what I mean? That game was a testament to how good we're going to be this year. But in my obvious, for the sense of being down 7 starters on an NFL professional team, most people are not going to expect you to win that, especially with a center, which starts the line, tackle, all your running backs, all your pass rushers, both your corners. Like, you can't really expect to win that game. Odell out on offense, you know what I mean? So you can't really expect to win that game.
So going to be there?
No, he's going to be there all season. At least to hold up the trophy with us.
I don't want to keep the call. I don't want you prima donna.
Nah.
Okay. All right. That was my big question. You know, I love Lamar.
Yeah.
I love, man. I want all these teams to be fully stocked. Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you got your bar, you got all the alcohol that you like to drink.
We're gonna be ready.
I want all the beers cold. You know what? You know. So all the teams. But okay. So that's kind of the obvious. Some typical. The Cowboy lost, right? Dak can't come back with a big one. Throw an interception late in the game or whatever in the end zone, right? I mean, you know, that's
so
typical.
The defender didn't move. I don't think he moved at all on the play.
Look, on that play, they showed how Dak was locked in. They showed on the left side, on the Cowboys' left, the Cardinals' right, there was like 2 or 3 people wide open.
Yeah.
And Dak was like locked in on the player over here. And it was... That's typical Dak, though, right? That's why I can't understand why they talk about them being a Super Bowl team. Dak ain't been close. If y'all watch these videos, in the very one of my first videos, I talked about Dak and his performance up to this time in his career, compared him to all the other quarterbacks in the NFC and who's had better careers. And he ain't one of the top ones. But anyway, they don't talk about the Cowboys going. Jerry Jones probably paid people to talk about the Cowboys the way they do. I mean... Also, the Jets losing to the Patriots, typical, right? Jets ain't beat the Patriots. Even if Aaron Rodgers was there, they probably still lost to the Patriots, right? Maybe not. Bengals had to win Monday night. They had to win that game. They couldn't start 0-3.
0-3 statistically is not well to make the playoffs. You generally don't recover from an 0-3 start, which we'll read a lot into it this week, going over the breakdown.
So those are just some of the good, the obvious and typical.
The typical for me is your man, Captain Kirk Cousins. I get it wasn't a prime time game, but you had 2 teams 0-2. 0-3, as we discussed, is not a good start in the NFL. Statistically, I think it's 87%, roughly something like that. You're not going to make the playoffs if you start 0-3. You're not going to make the playoffs if you start 0-3.
Yeah,
so you had 2 teams, and just Kirk Cousins couldn't get it done. And it's crazy because Herbert had never had over 200 yards passing against the Vikings.
Really?
And statistically, he was supposed to have a bad game.
If Kirk and Dak are friends. You think they're friends?
I don't know. They should be.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. And so the unexpected, this is the fun area. Houston's win. My man CJ Stroud got that first win over the Jags, right? Yeah, the Jags in Jacksonville on the road. The Packers came back. You know, a lot of people they ain't getting the love that he should get. The Packers look horrible that whole game. And Jordan Love got right when the time mattered. That's what I'm talking about, the precision. Don't matter what you did that first, what was you got, 12, 24, 36. It don't matter what you did about those first 40 minutes. Those last 8, he was on. Ravens lost. That's, to me, unexpected. But to my man Smeez, it's typical.
We still should have won that game.
And then I said, the Cardinals win, baby. The Cardinals win over the Cowboys. The Cowboys just underestimated them. Are the Cardinals better than everyone thought? Or they who? The Cardinals or who we thought they were? Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to remember the old coach for the Cardinals.
Denny Green.
Yeah, rest his soul. He's passed on. Yeah. So that's about what we got before we get into our Lemon Man Smeez go through his.
On the unexpected, I'm thinking, as I told y'all last week, Houston, you get a chance to watch that Houston game. I told y'all that Houston's an exciting team. But on the unexpected, I got Houston there, but just a little bit of gambling tidbits and information on the side. Jacksonville's 1-7 against Houston in the last 8 meetings.
Wow.
Trevor Lawrence has a 44 completion percent rating against Houston in his last 3 games.
It was a nice start before the game.
Yeah. That's why I hyped up Houston before the game. You know what I mean? And then also the second unexpected is the Denver Broncos in so many different ways in that game. One, to give up 70 points. To give up 70 points. Like, that. Some teams ain't even scored 70 points all year. And they gave it up in damn near half. Damn near half. So
Denver needed they fast shoes, people. They didn't wear them.
They didn't wear them. They left them. They got left on the bus, on the plane, somewhere. Find them. But the Dolphins giving up that 70 and just I wouldn't necessarily say lackluster performance, but Russ being Russ, as we'll get to a little bit later on. Russ just being Russ, and the game was a lot closer than the score read, but still, it was.
I mean, close in what? In spirit?
Nah, it was closer than we
think. When it was 21-0?
I mean, if you just watch the red zone and see just the big plays, you're missing the game.
I went back and looked at Miami had 14-21, 14-21.
They did.
So when did Denver's 20 match Miami at any point?
In the opening drive, Denver could have went down by 7 to 14 points at that time.
Okay, so we talking about in the first. Okay.
In the first half, they could. Okay. It didn't have to be 10 to 35 or what it was.
Right. Okay.
It could have been.
Well, so there was some missed opportunities.
A bunch of it.
Okay.
A bunch of it.
Okay.
Bunch of missed opportunities, and then Russ being Russ. You know. But that game was a lot closer, but still to give up 70 points at any point in time, that's always going to be unexpected.
People probably thought he was playing Trinity College at Alabama. Huh?
He's something like that.
I just made up Trinity College. People, I went and looked it up. There's a Trinity College. There's a Trinity College. So, also, I'm wearing this jersey because I want to pick this as my upset special. But I just think Cowboys is going to be playing with their hair on fire, and they ain't going to let the Patriots beat them because they got this week 4. Then they had the 49ers in week 5, and we know what that's going to be, a slugfest. But they can't go into that game with 2 losses.
That'd be a tough one.
Right.
That'd be a tough one, especially being an underdog in now. Mm-hmm. But for the breakdown, we're going to lead it off with the AFC. We got the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. I figured I'd lead it off with him because I've been riding Deshaun. Just seeing the thing about Deshaun Watson is we don't know if he's back yet.
Nope.
But we're going on 2, 3, 4. In year 5, is we still gonna be not back yet, or is it is what it is, and this is what's gonna happen? Like just the ups and downs. He leaves you on the fence of is he's back yet? And if he's back to what he was, that upside is way better than Dak or Kirk Cousins, or he taking a terrible Houston team to the playoffs and getting playoff wins. But that bad, if it is now, is you giving up 12 points and giving your team no chance to win.
Did you see his backward pass?
I didn't see the backward pass.
He threw a backwards pass. That was the worst pass of the game for Deshaun. He played well. Otherwise, I mean, that pass was horrible. He was getting sacked. I mean, he got spinned around and threw the ball backwards.
Oh, shit.
But the running back covered it up.
Yeah.
So, but no, he threw it backwards.
But at the end of the day, the numbers look good. He was 27 for 33, 289 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 3 sacks for 26 yards, QBR 78.4. QBR, we'll touch on that a little bit later on. Rating 123.4. First drive, pretty much took him on a field goal, got it. Had a 3-and-out fumble. Then he had a touchdown on the 4th drive. So this is why I say it's the up and down. Come out, look good, get him to a field goal. Then you go 3-and-out, then you fumble. But then on the touchdown drive, the drive itself was only 75 yards, and 45 came on pass interferences. Wow. Did result in a touchdown. Not too much on his behalf, but the penalties. Fifth drive before half, and I'm keying on before half, after coming out of halftime. Those are big drives. Opening game drive, fourth quarter drive. I say those are probably the fourth most important. You can rank them however you want to. Obviously, probably fourth quarter being the highest ranked. But those are probably your four most important drives in a football game. The opening drive, 14, the last drive before the half, first drive out of half, and your last time touching the ball in the fourth quarter. But they were up. Tennessee's offense was pretty stagnant. Came out second half. He took them down the field. This was a good drive. Coming out after half, again, key. That touchdown, took them down for a touchdown. After that, pretty much didn't have too much else. You know what I mean? But overall, decent day, kept them in the lead, didn't put the team in too many situations for any issues that cost them the game. Now, the main game, the Miami-Denver game. Speaking about this game, we're going to start off with Russ. Russ, again, empty calories. 23 for 38, 306, 8.1, 1 TD, 1 interception. The 1 TD is crucial, the 1 interception is crucial, both crucial. Good thing he's only sacked one time. Had a QBR of 67, quarterback rating of 83. First drive, again, that key drive, that first drive, 3 and out. Miami gets the ball, go right down the field, touchdown. Second drive, he did take him to a touchdown. So at that point, 7-7. Unfortunately, Miami gets the ball, touchdown again. Next drive, he takes him eight plays, 62 yards. They score a touchdown, but it's actually penalty offensive pass interference. Have to settle for a field goal. What we kind of talked about earlier in regards to that defense. Now the Dolphins defense gets a red zone stop, this, that. But at the end of the day, pass interference, offensive pass interference, took the touchdown away. But they get that touchdown. We get that touchdown, we 14-14.
I see what you're saying now. Okay.
Unfortunately, we get a field goal, or Broncos get a field goal, 14-10, touchdown.
21.
Then, Russ, we got to go. We got to get something here. 3 and out. Crucial 3 and out. Touchdown. So then, before half, now it's like, oh, man, we got to do something. Russ, again, takes him down the field. Another touchdown, called back because of offensive hold, settled for a field goal. We now going to halftime.
Wow, that's exactly what I was saying. I didn't even realize that happened in that game like that.
That's how that game happened.
I didn't even realize that. That's what I'm saying. It was a perfect example.
I told you. Now, again, keying on this one, after half, he goes 4 plays with a punt. Crucial. Because we need points right there. Because Miami's touchdown. You know what I'm saying? A couple of them was field goals, but for the most part, you get what I'm saying. We moving and we running. The next series for Russell, very first play, interception. At this point, obviously the game was kind of over before that. Touchdown after the half, punt, touchdown again, interception, another touchdown. Obviously this is now getting out of control. But the game was a lot closer in between the lines than it actually appeared on the scoreboard. And then obviously final drive, you know what I'm saying, ended up with nothing. But in the second half, they had 5 offensive possessions, 3 and outs, 1 interception, and the final drive, which went about 4 or 5 plays. Terrible second half, terrible adjustments, and all that's on Russ because we throwing the ball. We know we throwing the ball.
That's what I'm saying.
But Russ ended up with 306 at the end of the day. 306, QBR 67, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. It all looks good, but it's all empty.
Right. And the defense is just tee off on you at that point because they know you got to throw the ball.
Now, this is the thing I want to talk about, what makes the QBR interesting. And Tua did have the best QBR of the day at 88.7. But Tua ended up 23 for 26, 309 yards, averaging 12 yards per pass, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. They had 14 offensive series, scored on every single series other than 3. And 1 happened to be the end of the first half. And the second series was the end of the game where they had 6 plays for 51 yards. So in 1 series he did go downs. I think he did pick up a first down or 2 first downs. But how is that QBR on? What could he done any better? Definitely comment on this. What 236 or 26 attempts, 23 completions, 23 for 26. Missed 3 passes. 309, 12 yards per pass, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. QBR 88. Ratings through the roof for 155.
QBR is some garbage.
Like I'm still trying to figure it out. When I figure it out, y'all figure it out. Y'all know with me.
ESPN.
You know what I mean? Y'all know with me.
Proprietary bullshit.
KC, Pat Mahomes, pretty much. I mean, we all kind of knew what that was. The one fun thing about that, I'll just run through Patrick Mahomes' numbers real quick. Just typical Mahomes moving down the field, scoring touchdown, 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 touchdown. First half until this interesting fun fact. Mahomes was 24 for 33, 272, averaged 8 yards per pass, 3 touchdowns, QBR 77, rating 127. Normal day at the office with Pat Mahomes. But the interesting thing is the Chiefs as an offense threw 2 interceptions by Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert. I believe Cap's still out there looking for a job. But Blaine Gabbert, 6 pass attempts, 2 interceptions, 3 completions for like 50 yards. Just fun fact, 2 interceptions at the end of that game. And the Houston game, CJ Stroud is gaining in strides. He's 20 for 30, 280 in passing, almost 9 yards a pass, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 83.6 QBR, 118.8 on the QB rating. Again, thinking about drives, opening drive coming out. First drive, 3 and out. Second drive, took him on for a touchdown. Third drive, pretty much 6 plays punt, touchdown in the next one on 7 plays. Now, the key to this is when they went into halftime, after that last touchdown, pretty much Stroud kind of struggled a little bit. Series 5, Series 6 kind of led him to a field goal. Series 7, 4 plays, 2 yards. You know what I mean? But as Jacksonville started to make their comeback, remember I talked about that last drive. The last drive of the game, he actually took Houston down the field to a touchdown, which put that lead up. And that was right after Jacksonville scored and was right there in striking distance. He got the ball, took him down, got that touchdown, not the field goal. Texas go home with the win, and that's how they make my man Al's list of unexpected on that last drive of the game, most crucial, most important drive of the game.
Good. All right, man. CJ Stroud, man, these young bucks coming up. Wait till Anthony Richardson come back.
They're throwing it down the field too.
Bryce Young might be a question mark, but I think Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud gonna be okay. So let's get to the NFC, right? Very different approach I'm gonna take as always, right? That's my man Deep Dive and let y'all know, right? He giving y'all all the details. So I'm gonna talk about the losers real quick, then I'm gonna get to the winners. Or I want to talk about the winners, right? The losers, right? Justin Fields, horrible, right? We know, right? He had a QBR rating. This is just horrible. It's just I can't even find it. Justin, 18.4. That's you can't get much lower, right? I guess you could, but his stats are horrible for that game, people. But here's the thing with Justin Fields, right? So all the talk this week has been obviously his time in Chicago is going to be over after this season, right? So
it's looking like,
is he going to stay in the NFL as a backup? Is he going to be somewhere else? Because it's not working out there, right?
At first I'd say no, but after saying Gabbert's stat line, I think he got a shot. He got a shot. He might got a shot somewhere.
If Gabbert can be a backup, he can be a backup. That might be his role in the NFL. So he was a loser. Desmond Ridder, after his big game last week against the Falcons, not the Falcons, against the Packers, he was 21 for 38, 201 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He was sacked 7 times. That means he's holding the ball a lot, not sure of what he should be doing. Once again, this is where inefficient offense make that defense look real good. And here was the one. I knew he had a lower QB rating than Justin Fields, which is insane. His QBR is 11.1. I mean, and his rating is 70.2. See, that's what I'm saying. These QBRs, although they only scored 3 points. Justin Fields scored, I think it was 10.
I think so.
Yeah, but I mean, that's because Kansas City turned the ball over 2 times. They wouldn't have even had that points if it weren't for Blaine Gabbert. So Desmond Ridder, loser. And then Dak, my biggest loser out of the NFC. And we talked about Dak a moment ago. But one of the things that drives me crazy when it comes to the Cowboys and Dak, it was, Dak shouldn't be throwing 40 times a game. And he was 25 for 40, 249 yards, 6.2 average, 1 TD. We all know about that 1 interception. He was sacked 2 times for 18 yards. He had a QBR of 40.8 and a rating of 78. But here's the deal. To me, with Dak and the Cowboys, they just got to win the big game, period. All this regular season stuff, we're going to have the up games, we're going to have the down games. One thing I like to say is the NFL is a week-to-week proposition, right? You got the game plan each week. Coach comes out. This is what we're going to do. Me and my man Smeez talked about it. Those first 15 plays, every team in the league can do that, right? They come out, and they look good on the first drive. Most teams do, right? The efficient teams come out, and they score something on the first drive. But it's after you get punched in the mouth, and the Cardinals punched the Cowboys in the mouth a couple of times. You get up
5 times, exactly.
5 times.
All 5 possessions in the first half. Touchdown or field goal.
They scored.
Touchdown or field goal.
And see, Dallas was probably shocked. And it's what happens to your team after that. How do you respond? They didn't respond well. It's like, to me, if you go...
I mean, they did respond well, because the thing about it...
They scored some points.
They came back and scored some points. But that crucial last drive, the last 2 drives, Dobbs didn't do anything. The Cardinals only had 4 possessions in the second half.
Okay.
And the first 2, that defense came out, stopped them. But then Dobbs hit that deep pass down the field for 60, 70 yards, touchdown. Now, Dak, you got to come back and do something. And that's when Dak throws the interception, and the Cardinals just ran the clock out. So, again, that last possession, y'all efficient enough, this Dallas, big, strong Dallas defense. You think y'all going to beat the 49ers, beat the Eagles? You see how them teams run up front, and y'all let the Cardinals just and run the clock out on y'all? Like, how can you think that you got a shot against those teams when it counts?
So you know Bill Belichick, right? I'm not saying bet on the Patriots this weekend, people. I'm just saying, hey, you know.
He'll find that loophole in there and find it and use it.
Right. So, and I do take Lamar because Tyrone would be, or Smeez, my man, he's a regular fan. Yeah. He would lose his mind on Lamar. So Lamar, I love the Ravens, Lamar too, right? He was 22 for 31, 202 yards, no TDs passing, no INTs, but he was rushing 14 rushes, 101 yards, 2 TDs. That's where his touchdowns came from. And he was sacked 4 times for 24 yards. So Lamar, as quick as he is, couldn't get out of the way of those 4 sacks. And he averaged 6.5 yards a pass. His QBR was 58.9, and rating was 88.4. But there was a lot of missed opportunities. My man Smeez, we talked about it before the video. He know everything about the Ravens and where they missed all their opportunities. And once again, people, that's what I should go back to. When the offense is operating efficiently, then the Colts wouldn't have been able to stop them. But they weren't. They were missing throws, penalties, and then the NFL is going to miss some calls. Fumbles. The NFL is going to miss some calls. Was Zay Flowers interfered with on that last play? Yeah. He was interfered. So they're going to miss some calls.
Face mask before that on the other series they didn't call.
But that's the NFL. So you got to deal with that, right? Week to week. Like I said, it's a week-to-week proposition. So those are my losers. I want to get to the winners. Oh, boy. I love the winners, right? We all do. So I'll start with Jalen because I want to save my man Jordan Love and Geno for the last because it's 2 of my favorites because I don't think they get hardly much love. But Jalen Hurts, I got a Hurts jersey coming, by the way. Not soon enough, but he was 23 for 37, 277 yards, 7.5 average, 1 TD, 1 INT, sacked 1 time for 6 yards. He had a QBR of 62.5 and a rating of 71.6. Sorry I didn't get his rushing tips. I'm sure he had a couple in there. I think he scored on one touchdown. But to me, the Eagles is one of those teams that's going to put pressure on your defense or put pressure on your offense because they're going to score and move the ball. Yeah. So you're going to have to score. Yeah. To me, in the NFC right now, the 2 best teams are the Eagles and the Niners. I don't have a third one. I don't want to put the Cowboys or any other team. I just think those two are the two best in the NFC because they always put pressure on you offensively to score because they're going to score and move the ball. Yeah. They got some of the best offensive weapons in the league.
Yeah.
So I think, you know.
And a strong old line.
Right. So, and then my two favorite guys in the NFC, Jordan Love and Geno. Geno, I said the Seahawks, it's getting to me like his typical game. He was 23 for 36, 296 yards, 8.2 average, because they do throw the ball down the field. Pete Carroll, they'll throw some long balls. Yeah. He had one TD, one INT. He was sacked 2 times for 17 yards. QBR 60.4 and an 87.3 rating. And I just like his attitude and his tenacity towards the game, you know, that I can do this. And a lot of people had doubts about Geno. Not that he's going to go and win the Super Bowl, they're going to even win that division because it's a very tough division with 49ers. But I think he's going to keep them in the fight every game. You're going to have to beat them. He ain't going to give you the game. He might make some bad throws, but they're not going to give you the game. You're going to have to beat them. Now, my favorite one of all was Jordan Love, okay? That was one of the few games I did have time to sit down and watch. And he played horrible, the whole team. Now, as far as drives, I watched that game. In the very first drive, they was plus 50 or right close to the 50. Their defense stopped the Saints, and they had the ball after the Saints scored, but they had the ball, I believe, that second time.
Yeah.
And the first play was some offensive penalty.
Yeah.
And the second play was another offensive penalty. And so, like, they backed him up. They didn't do anything. And from that point, they were kind of discombobulated. He was just a little off. Yeah. Right. He was a little off. 3 quarters, like I said, 3.5 quarters, they did nothing. And he came alive late in the game. To me, not that he's going to go on and win Super Bowls, but that's the sign of a good quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Something that Dak couldn't do. Dak was, you know, they were losing the whole game. They didn't score any points until that time in the fourth. And then, well, we knew once Carr got hurt.
Yeah,
that they really had
changed a little bit.
It changed.
You think they get a field goal now?
Right. And when James came in, I was like, okay, Packers got a chance. They got more than a chance.
But you still got that defense. Remember that haunted ball?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So is it right? The defense or the offense?
Right. And so when Jordan Love came back and won that game, I was happy for him because I mean, a lot of people they just didn't think he was going to do well, and he's come out and he's leading. Well, there's one other quarterback who has 7 passing touchdowns. I forget who it is. It was probably Tua. Yeah. It's got to be Tua, but he's got 7. Jordan Love has 7 as well. So just go over his stats. He was 22 for 44, 259 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT. He's only sacked 1 time. He had an average of 5.9 yards per pass, QBR 61.1, rating 66.4. Like I said, I like him a lot because a lot of people didn't give him a chance. But
I'd be interested to see how many 3 and outs he had.
Oh, he had a lot.
He had a lot of 3 and outs.
Oh, in the first half. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I mean,
it's just one of those things where those 3 and outs kind of doesn't change the field position. If anything,
well, they may have gotten the first down here and there.
Yeah, but it didn't matter though.
Right, it didn't
get that little bit of
right. It didn't result in any score.
Yeah, we don't need the score. I just don't want the 3 and out.
Right, the 3 and outs kill you. Right,
2 first downs and punt. Those cool. I can.
Right, the 3 and outs is what kills you.
So that's more time. But the 3 and out, real quick, boom, boom, boom. You did nothing to change the field position. You probably lost some yards if you got a penalty. Like it's just the 3 and outs. So it'd just be interesting to see. I have to look that up a long time.
I don't go that deep, people. Like I said, I'm more of a big fan over here. Obviously, you can tell. I wear jerseys. I just love wearing the black quarterback jerseys, and I got jerseys with my own name, like I told y'all in a couple videos before. So, that's about it this week. We're looking forward to week 4, right? Week 4. It gets interesting every week, people. And some of the games coming up, we got some 0-4 teams going at it. And the Bears and the Broncos, that should be very, very interesting. Those teams, you imagine how hard they're going to play every down in that game? Yeah. I mean, they're going to be playing really hard. Because if the percentage of you making the playoffs is like, or not making the playoffs like in the 80s if you 0-3, it's got to be like 90s if you 0-4.
Oh, that's over.
Right. So, and then we got the Vikings and the Carolina Panthers playing. They're both 0-3. And so, if the Vikings lose
I told you what the Vikings do. If the Vikings lose, I was telling Al this earlier today. If the Vikings lose, they need to basically have a two-man closed door meeting.
That's a two-man.
Justin Jefferson and Addison. We trading Kirk, Captain Kirk going to the Jets. I know they say the Jets need to call. We're going to be the ones calling because we got to play for Caleb. And we having a closed door. We'll replace the other 52 players on the roster. We'll get somebody else. But we need Caleb, Justin Jefferson, and Addison. We rebuilding our team. Vikings 2014.
The future people, keep this in mind. You're either playing for hype and hope or the future. And we talked about how the Cowboys banner for the hype and hope is like as high as it can get. That banner of hype, I think Jerry Jones pays them people to talk about the Cowboys the way they do. I mean, they got the biggest hype and hope banners in the league in the Cowboys. Yes, and then they always fall short. So then we got some other good, interesting matchups. It's just going to be another fun weekend of football. Oh, yeah, just tomorrow. Oh, good point. Because if Jordan Love, what's his name, Christian, comes back, the wide receiver, number 9 for the Packers. Yeah. If he comes back, number 9, and the running back, Aaron Jones, I think they beat the Lions going away. I don't think it's going to be to the last possession. Because Jordan Love's been doing work with subpar receivers. Yeah. I mean, well, not number 1.
Romeo Dobbs been doing well.
Yeah, Romeo Dobbs. Yeah. So if he gets the number 9 back, I always forget this kid's name. I go look him up. But if they get him back and Aaron Jones is number 1 running back, RB1, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's just going to help him out even more. But the Lions supposed to be world beaters, right? Nobody talk about them going to the Super Bowl, right? Why is that? And why isn't no other defender's family been mic'd up since week 1, huh? Why is that? I'm just curious. Anybody else know? NFL, you know? How come you ain't mic up nobody other defenders' families since Aiden Hutchinson? I'm just curious. Anybody out there know? I mean, I know they had some other players mic'd up this past weekend, but no family members. Just curious. Just saying. If y'all forgot about that. So
I'd say the other 2 games, Dolphins, Bills, and Ravens, Browns, are really the other 2.
Yes, interesting games. Yeah. So we're gonna see, people. As always, NFL get interesting week by week. Interesting too, if that's not a word, but week to week proposition, people. They come up with the game plan, the coach. This is what we're gonna do, fellas. And they get punched in the mouth. It's like, oh, my mouth is bleeding, I'm missing a tooth, and I'm confused. So that's what happens a lot of times. And they end up losing. Okay? So good luck to your team and your quarterback. And may the football guys be with you, whoever they are. Peace. We'll see you next week.
See you later.